All right, today we are diving into something pretty radical. The idea that reality isn't just something you experience, but something you can actually engineer. We're going to look at how we can shape everything from the waves inside our own brains to the massive digital worlds of the metaverse. I mean, what if you really could? It's a question humans have been asking for, well, forever. But today, this is way more than just a late night philosophical chat. We're going to explore three really powerful ways people are trying to do this, from hacking our own brainwaves to literally building new worlds from scratch. This ancient quest is becoming a modern reality. So, here's the plan. First, we'll frame this whole idea of hacking reality. Then we'll dive into how sound can actually change your state of consciousness. After that, how your own thoughts can rewire your mind. Then, how tech is building totally new worlds. And finally, we'll see how it's all coming together. Okay, so let's kick things off with the big idea here. We're looking at reality as something that can be tinkered with, that can be engineered. And I'm not talking science fiction, I'm talking about using a whole set of tools, some ancient, some brand new, to intentionally shape our experience of the world. You know, it's funny. Whether you're talking about an ancient monk in deep meditation or a modern developer coding in the metaverse, the fundamental drive is kind of the same, isn't it? It's this deep desire to be the architect of your own experience. That's the thread that connects all of this. All right, for our first deep dive, we're not starting in some high-tech lab. Nope. We're going back to the 1950s with a radio executive named Robert Monroe. This guy wasn't a scientist. He wasn't a mystic. He was just a businessman who completely by accident stumbled onto something that would change his life and our understanding of the brain forever. I mean, can you even imagine that? One minute you're a successful businessman, probably worried about ad sales, and the next you're somewhere else. This is Monroe's actual account of the totally bizarre and probably terrifying event that kicked off his life's work. So what was going on here? Was it something supernatural? Well, what Monroe discovered wasn't magic at all. It was actually a really cool quirk of neuroscience called binaural beats. Basically, if you play two slightly different sounds in each ear, your brain doesn't just hear two sounds. It actually creates a third phantom sound all on its own. It's like your brain is doing audio math. And this is how it all works. It's actually pretty brilliant. His technology, which he called hemisync, plays one frequency in your left ear, say 170 hertz, and a slightly different one in your right, like 174 hertz. Your brain then creates the difference, a 4 hertz theta wave, which is the same brainwave state you find in deep meditation. He was literally using sound to guide the brain wherever he wanted it to go. All right, so we've seen how you can use external sounds to hack the brain. But now, let's turn inward. What about the most powerful tool we all have right now, our own mind? How can we use it to reprogram our internal reality? Okay, get ready for this number, 95%. That's a huge number, right? Well, according to neuroscientists, that's how much of your daily life, your choices, your reactions, your habits is run by subconscious programming. And get this, most of that programming was downloaded before you were 7 years old. We're basically running on old, outdated software. And that old software from our childhood, it's often full of what you might call limiting beliefs. It's like buggy code that's holding you back. So rewriting our inner code is really about debugging those old programs and consciously installing new, empowering beliefs. It's like giving yourself a major operating system upgrade. Now, this is where it gets really interesting. A researcher named Dr. David Hawkins created what he called a map of consciousness, where he framed emotions as different energy levels. And the math he proposed is wild. He suggested that one single person operating from a high-frequency state like love could actually counterbalance the negative energy of 750,000 people living in fear. It's a powerful idea that our internal state has a real, measurable effect. And look, this isn't just some vague, positive thinking stuff. This is straight-up applied neuroscience. There's a famous saying in the field, neurons that fire together, wire together. What it means is that every single time you repeat a new thought or a new habit, you're physically strengthening new pathways in your brain. You're literally rewiring it. So we've talked about how sound can influence the brain and how our own thoughts can rewire it. But what if we could just skip altering our current reality and just build a new one from scratch? Well, that's the promise of the ultimate external tool for reality engineering, virtual worlds. Virtual reality sounds amazing, right? Infinite worlds at your fingertips. But it hasn't quite taken over the world yet. And there are some pretty big reasons why. We're talking high costs, that motion sickness feeling some people get, and some really deep technical problems that are holding it back. Let's just zoom in on one of those problems, because it's a big one: interoperability. Right now, the VR world is kind of a mess. It's like the early days of computers, where a device from one company won't work with software from another. You get locked into these walled gardens, which is frustrating for everyone and really slows down the dream of a truly open metaverse. Okay, so we've gone on quite a journey here, right? We've looked at hacking brainwaves with sound, rewriting our minds with thought, and building virtual worlds with code. So, what happens when these different streams start to merge? Where do we go from here? So let's recap. First, we started with an external tool to create an internal change. We hacked the brain using sound. Then, we went completely inward, right? We used the power of our own focused thought to rewire the mind from the inside out. And finally, we looked at the ultimate external tool, building brand new worlds from nothing but code. And this, right here, is where it all starts to connect. This is the big takeaway. These three paths, sound, thought, and technology, they aren't separate anymore. They're converging. The tools we use to influence our brain, the techniques for changing our minds, and the tech for building virtual worlds are all starting to talk to each other. And the line between inner engineering and outer engineering is getting incredibly blurry. And that really leaves us standing on the edge of a crazy new frontier. As all these tools get better and start to blend together, we're heading towards a future where we can just slide between our own inner world and these incredible digital worlds. So the ultimate question we're left with is this: when that happens, what is real even going to mean? Thanks for joining me on this one.